Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Podcast, where we help you unlock your potential freedom through land investing, real estate investing, and entrepreneurship. Hey everyone, this is episode 85 of the Real Estate Investing Podcast discussing priced review. Should you be using priced in 2022 and 2023 in your land business? I'm your host, Daniel Apke, joined by my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. Before we get into the show, let's go over a question from one of our featured members. Question is from Brittany. Keep in mind our Discord is free. This question came directly from Discord. Go to landinvestingonline.com/Discord where a ton of investors are involved. We'd love to see you guys there. Question for Brittany was, I currently have 2,500 mailers I pulled from DataTree, and now the pricing and everything is all over the place. I cannot find any kind of consistency in the pricing. I spoke to a few people who said it was more of an advanced county to price, and I need to price it by zip code pricing or even more refined than that. What should I do here, saying this is only my second mailer and this is over my head?
Yeah, this is pretty common. Like some people review like what the pricing is going to look like in a lot of detail prior to pulling data off DataTree. Some people don't. I don't really coach or teach either way. I think there's some value, but I also think people who do it the latter way, where they look at everything in detail before they even pull data, sometimes get too much in the weeds and they spend too much time on that stuff. So a lot of times I just tell people like, pick a county that you like, whatever, do your county selection search, and then pick a county and figure out the pricing after. In this situation, Brittany, I think you might want to, like, it's not that much money that's spent on data, and that data can be used down the line. What I would suggest, and I'm interested to hear your point of view, Dan, what I would suggest is picking another county, like doing your county selection again in a different area maybe, and trying to find another county that may be a little simpler to price, and keeping this on the back burner. Do not throw this data away by any means. This data is very useful and should be sent by you in the next month or two, without a doubt. The data will still be good. You don't have to pull again, but I would, if it's that complicated and that complex, I would probably not throw out the data, but put it on the back burner and choose another county that probably can be priced by county, or at least priced by a couple of sections of the county and zip code priced a little more simpler.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, that $1,000, if you're newer, so 2,500, and then if you sent the mail, $1,500 or so after everything, means a lot more to you now than after you do a few deals. Therefore, if you don't get any deals or yield anything out of this because the pricing's all over the place and it's hard to price, that's going to mean less to you in a few months, like Ron said, than when you're actually cycling money in and out. You're not going to care of that mail efficiency necessarily, and you understand the upside of sending that, maybe getting one potential massive deal, but you're okay with zero as well. So I would scrap that. You don't want any confidence lost because you sent this mailer and you didn't get any results because your pricing was all over the place. So just like Ron said, scrap it, move on, keep the data for later. Let's get into today's show. Priced review. Should I use this tool? So Priced, let's go over, Ron, what Priced is overall for people who don't know. Priced is a software that prices your mail. So as you guys know, we send offer letters out to landowners to try to acquire. So they will be, hey, can I purchase your 5 acres for $50,000 in Hamilton County, Ohio? That's Cincinnati. And it will have an offer letter on there. We have a data specialist who prices that mail. It's Ron right now. We're hiring someone else for it, who prices that mail and sends out these offers by collecting data and looking at different things on the market that we teach all in the course. So Priced kind of cuts this process and just automatically prices you put different filters on it. You want to price at 35%, whatever your criteria is, Ron, you put that in the filters on Priced and then price it. And then Priced pretty much pools all the data that we get from DataTree and puts a price on it, $30,000, $32,000, whatever that is. And then it can send it out for you or export that, and then you send out the mail. So that's pretty much what Price does. It prices land for you. And I'm on their website right now, and their tagline is just priced. We price things. So that's what they do. They just comp properties out, but they have a really big footprint in the land industry, Ron.
Yeah, it's something that I've tested out quite a bit in our business, Dan, and it does work for some people who are sending massive amounts of mail and are okay spending $10, $15, $20,000 on mail in a month, and maybe getting a return that's just not the same if you sent that much mail that is priced yourself. There's a reason we're hiring a data specialist because there's so much more to data than just what's on the surface. And that's what Priced uses. So they're going to use surface level data as far as the zip code. They're going to use, and I'm not going to say I know everything they use in their method, but they're going to use the zip code. They're going to use the price it sold for. And there's little things that you just cannot see on the surface, whether there's maybe some improvements there or the land just isn't great land. There's some slope to the land, and there's different things with pricing land. Uh, I think the value is if you're some giant investor and you're just trying to get a ton of mail out, you could do it this way, but you also need to manage an entire team if you're sending that much mail. And I've had coaching students who have sent tons of mail with priced and just they see a deal like every 7 to 10,000 mailers, where we see a deal between every 2,000 to 2,500 mailers or so. I do think there is ways to use it within our business. We don't currently do that, but I think there's ways to add it to our business to make our business more efficient and stuff like that, because there are good data points in there, but using it to price is something that I have a difficulty letting go of and having it outside the team.
Exactly. And there's a difference, like Ron is saying, between a tool and a complete solution. Priced is a tool that you might be able to utilize in your business somehow. It's popular. It's a popular topic, Ron, because it's an easy way out of pricing. Pricing is one of the biggest barriers to entry of this business model. It takes time to get used to it. It's always a learning progress. You're never perfect. So it's a way out of pricing. I think that's why it got so popular, is because it's an easy way out. But I do want to talk about Ron and I did a study a few weeks ago before one of our Friday lunch and learns to discuss priced, because it's been such a hot topic. I wanted to find out more. So I took 25 of our properties we recently bought and sold, and priced has something called a comp report. So I put the price report of the sale price of what price thought we could sell it for all 25 of these. And then I put what we actually sold it for. Then I had the difference. And then I pulled different things like the absolute value to see how accurate is priced. And we did this for about 20, 25. I can't remember the exact number. But what I found, Ron, was it was about 33.5% off over. So it was about 33% over of what we actually sold it for. I'm reading the numbers to make sure I'm saying everything correctly. Yeah, so price was higher than what we actually sold it for, 33% on average. But there are some good things about it, that when you took the actual, if you took the sum of the actual and the sum of the difference, I can't remember what this is called, Ron, but you took the sum of the actual price of what we sold it for and subtracted it by the price report, and that total number was very, very close. I do get that. Someone kind of rebutted me in that data and said this, and kind of came back with a little rebuttal to us, Ron, showing how it was some data that we could use, and I understand that. But looking at it from deal to deal, it didn't make sense for what we're doing at this point in time. And I would love for it to. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing price or anything. It's just you are going to run into some major hurdles if you use this as your complete solution.
Yeah, it's not a complete solution. Like it cannot be. I don't know, and that's why like we're pretty known in the land industry, Dan, and growing, I think, and we have a pretty big community. And there's not anyone in here. I would love for someone in the community to come on, and we'll have an interview with them if they exclusively use price to price their mail and do it. I would love to have some, but I don't think there are people really doing it, to be honest, Dan, where it is like an exclusive tool. I guess it's not tool, it's solution. You said an exclusive solution for pricing, for comping, that kind of stuff. Because at this point, it's just not. And the pricing aspect, I don't use it at all. I do think there's some value in the comping because they do like give you a comp report for like $2 or something. Dan, is that correct?
Something like that. Yeah, they do comp reports, and it is interesting, Ron, to see what they actually use. They do look at a lot more than I thought. Like they have the slope on there. They have not only zip code, I think they have the longitude, latitude, relative, the distance to the nearest comp, percentage wise of the distance, how many miles it is. They have a lot of things factored in. I can tell they're going in the right direction, but like you said, Ron, with all data, data's data. Without a human element to data, data is just data. It doesn't mean anything, right? Data is nothing without a human element. And I think that's such a big part of this business because it isn't rocket science, the price, Ron, but it's also not easy. And I talked to our brother Mike today about this when we were putting up the data analyst position, and we were talking about the human element of data. Like, this is more than just looking at numbers and pulling an average in a zip code. There's so much more to it because there's so many different things that we could go into, and we've had whole other episodes on this, Ron. But things like bad comps and understanding comps and looking in attributes on comps versus non. So there's so much just analyzing and picking specific comps and making kind of judgments from those data points, Ron.
Yeah, and another thing about data, like there's a huge human element in this type of data because there is such a lack of data. Like there, you have to connect the dots a lot of times to price. And I talk with our coaching students all the time, like maybe we don't have comps at 8 acres, but we have comps at 6 acres and we have comps at 10 acres. Let's be smart about this and find out what we think 8 acres is going to go for. And then if you do the same thing on priced and they don't have enough data or they have one data point, 8 acres could be priced 5,000 more dollars per acre than 6 acres. Like I've seen this in real things. So that's the problem. If there's a lack of data, and a lot of this stuff we do is in rural America with very little data points, or a zip code might have no data points or one data point, and it's not a great piece of data. Like that's going to throw off everything. I think there's such a maybe as data becomes more accessible or there is more data on land, maybe it becomes more relevant and more useful in our space. But right now, as far as, like I keep saying, as far as the pricing aspect, with the minimal amount of data there is available, it's like when we talk about, Dan, like reviewing your first mailer. Like, yeah, you might want to look at it, but you can't review it like, say, I can't get any deals because I got no deals on this 2,000 mailers. Like, no, send 100,000 mailers and let's see how many deals you got on that. Just like that, there's so little data in a zip code to price, then price is just kind of guessing and honestly taking one or two data points, and it's not accurate.
Exactly. And then one bad or good data point can really swing it. And you can see that they give you a comp report graph chart and it shows you the acreage and then the price per acre and all that stuff. And you can see all the outliers there. And they are factoring those in. They obviously factor them in less, but it's just not there yet. But it could be used. And we're trying to look for how it can be used as a tool to the business instead of a solution because it does give you all the comps in one sheet. It is there's other ones out there too, Ron. Priced is not the only one. I don't know why that one got big in the land industry. There's other land um, comping software as well. Price was just the one that's been the hot topic. This isn't houses where you have 20 data points within a half a mile, Ron, and 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,000 square feet is selling. You can get a literally direct price in your neighborhood. Go to almost any neighborhood in the US. You can find, as long as it's not rural, in a suburb, you can find a very similar data point very closely and get a pretty accurate price of what you're going to. Houses are so easy to comp. These are not houses, guys. For you guys who are new here, this is, like Ron's saying, extremely difficult to comp. And that's why this business is so sustainable right now. But we've had a lot of members join us, giving us a breakdown of their business, where they're struggling. Maybe they're not acquiring enough for all the mail they've sent. And we start looking into their business a little bit because I'm like, how is this happening? How do they send all this mail and they're not getting all these results? We dive deeper and we find out a lot of these people are using Priced as their solution. And like I said, I'm not bashing anyone. When we started this run, if someone showed us Price, we maybe would have done the same exact thing if we didn't know better. It does make the business so much more easy, so much easier if you guys are just using Priced. But we see these people coming with major business problems, sending out a ton of mail with very little results. And either they're extremely overpriced or extremely underpriced, is what we're finding out. So that's the first thing we do is focus on pricing. We scrap price right away. Tell them to use it as a tool to analyze that first, their pricing after. Don't look at it before, maybe. Whatever it is, we really dig into the pricing aspect and we quite frankly can help turn their business around. And we've done that time after time, Ron.
Yeah, I mean that's how we've solved their issues. Honestly, is let's not worry about getting 10,000 mailers out this month. Let's worry about getting 5,000 mailers that are priced correctly that are going to give you the best chance at deals. So I think shifting from that mindset is it's difficult for some people and they don't want to put in the time, work, effort, whatever you want to call it, to actually price themselves. And it's the learning curve. Once you learn pricing, it's not the most difficult thing in the world. Like it's not the thing I have the most it's not my most difficult thing that I do on a weekly basis. It just isn't even close to being that, because that learning curve there, I've passed that learning curve, and I just am adding things to my pricing methods every few months or something like that, or when I learn something new. But the learning curve from start to whatever your first 5 mailers is so great, and priced seems like a cheat code almost for it, and it's not, because the results are going to vary in a bad way, in my opinion. So that's just the way to look at it. And like you said, Dan, I'm not trying to bash it. I've seen uh, person after person come in and kind of have the same experience, have the same results. I've tested it out. I haven't sent any mail with it, but I've tested and compared it to my mail that has been successful, and it's significantly different. So that's just, like I said, I'm not trying to bash anything, but using it as a solution is not the answer, in my opinion.
It is cool, and I do believe in their mission and the amount of data that they pull into one source. They just not it's not analyzed and visualized properly yet. There's always going to be a human element with data to some level, and I just think that's the piece that they're missing, which is great because we can use it as an effective tool, a very very effective tool eventually. And guys, we're going to keep an eye on this. I reviewed this last year. I bought it last year. I remember, like, I think end of last year, to analyze it, and I did again last month, I think it was, and to analyze it with 25 recent comps. And I'm going to continue to do so to see how they're evolving as a company. I do think there's use in them, like we've said probably 20 times in this episode. They might be great partners of ours one day. They're just not where we need it. And at some point, we're probably going to use those comp reports to our advantage just to get all the different data pieces in one source. I think it's great. But I don't have anything really else, Ron. Do you have any last things to add?
No, I think that was good.
Yeah, so just don't use it as a solution if you guys are. Please, please, please. It's a big pet peeve of mine, and it's where we see people success or consistently fail at this business because they spend a ton of money and yield such little results from the software as a complete solution. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining. To get started and unlock your potential freedom, visit landinvestingonline.com/discord, where Ron and I are involved. Please like and subscribe our YouTube channel, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever you guys are listening on. It means a lot. And other than that, we'll see you next episode. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, guys.